Once upon a time, there was a farmer and his wife. They had lived a good, long life together, and they were very happy. But they had one problem: a neighbor. This neighbor just liked to get into everybody's business. If the farmer was out in his fields, he'd walk and say, "Oh, what seed are you planting? Oh, well, that's not the seed I would plant. You use that kind of hoe? That's the wrong one. It doesn't get all the weeds. You plow with a llama instead of a donkey? What were you thinking?" Like I said, he just got into everybody's business. And one day, there was a traveling man, homeless, a hobo, that came up to the farmer in his fields and say, "May I please have a drink of water?" And the farmer, he put his arms around the man and said, "We could do much better than that." And they walked back to the house. And the wife brought out fresh pressed cider and hot crusty bread and cheese and fruits and meats. And because the day was fine, they were sitting and enjoying the food on the front porch when the neighbor saw the traveling man eating. And the neighbor walked over and said, "What are you doing, old man? Don't you know that if you feed a traveling man, more will come? You can't afford to pay for them. I can't afford that they will come to my house. And if they come to your house, they'll come to my house. And I don't think..." And the traveling man stopped him mid-sentence. And he told the old farmer, "For your kindness, if you will hike the mountain to where the clouds touch, there'll be a magic spring. Drink from that water, and you will receive your greatest wish." "Oh, hogwash," said the neighbor. "There's no such thing as a magic spring. I don't even believe what you're saying. Are you even listening to him, old man?" And the traveling man stopped the neighbor again and repeated, "If you will hike up the mountain to where the clouds touch, there'll be a magic spring. Drink from its waters, and you will receive your greatest wish." Well, the neighbor was so frustrated, he just huffed off and walked home. And that night, the husband and wife, they lay in bed, and the old farmer, he said, "Do you think it's possible?" And she said, "I don't know, but why not find out?" So the next morning, the old farmer, he hiked, and he hiked, and he hiked, and he hiked until his back, oh, it ached, and his knees screamed in pain, and he hiked until the clouds touched. There was a magic spring, and on his creaking knees, he bent down, and he scooped up some water, and gulp, gulp, gulped it down. It went down into his bellies, and oh, he felt strong. His knees didn't hurt, his hips didn't hurt, his back. He felt great, and he raced down the mountain. He walked into his cottage, and he said, "Hello, I'm home." And his wife said, "Husband, you, look at you. You are so handsome." And he said, "What?" And she got out the mirror and she showed him, and his gray hair was now black and shiny, and his wrinkled face was now smooth and clear, and well, his little pot belly was now as thin and as taut as a young man would appreciate. Well, that night the husband said, "Wife, tomorrow I'll take you up the mountain." And so they did. The next day, the very young husband and his old wife hiked up the mountain. They hiked and they hiked until the clouds touched. And there was the magic spring. And the old woman looked down and she said, "Husband, is this actually the magic springs? Because if I kneel down with my knees and my hips and my back hurting so bad, and it's not the magic spring, I will die here." He said, "Trust me. It's the magic springs." And so, old woman, she knelt down. Her knees were cracking. Her back ached. She held on to her husband for support. Finally, she got down just far enough that she could scoop up some water. She gulped, gulped, gulped it down, and it went down her throat and into her belly. And ooh, her hips. They hadn't felt like that for a long time. And her knees, they felt, well, like dancing. And then she checked out some things that a woman might check out. And they raced down the mountain. Well, the next day, the old farmer, who was very young, was out in his fields. And the neighbor saw this young strapping lad in the old man's fields. And he walked up. He said, "Who are you? What are you doing? Where's the old man? Did he die? Are you a relative? What's going on? Where is the old man?" And the old man said, "I am the old man. But I hiked up the mountain to where the clouds touched. I drank from the magic spring, and this is what happened." And then out sashayed his beautiful young wife with a glass of lemonade. And the neighbor looked at the wife and said, "You drank from the magic springs?" She said, "Yes, I did." And right then, that neighbor, he started racing towards the mountain. He ran up the mountain to where the clouds touched. There was the magic spring. He gulp, 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 gulped it down. Well, that night, the farmer and his wife, they lay in bed, and the wife said, "Husband, don't get me wrong. It is really nice being young again. But my greatest desire was to not always be young. My greatest desire was to get, well, a baby." And he said we would get our greatest desires. Do you think the magic springs could give us a baby? And the husband said, "I don't know, but let's go see." So the next morning, the husband and wife hiked up the mountain quick as a whistle. And they were almost where the clouds touched when they heard, "Wah, wah, wah," the most angry cry a wee babe could make. They raced to where the clouds touched. There was the magic springs, and right next to the magic springs was a brand new baby boy. The wife picked him up and she held him close. She loved him. And she said, "Husband, can we keep him?" And the husband looked down at the old men's shabby clothing that the baby was swaddled in, and he said, "Yes, we can, as long as we teach him to be a better neighbor." And the husband and the wife and their wee baby boy lived happily ever after.